live, going live. Oh, alrighty. You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Washington Commanders. Why the Washington Commanders 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. Try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away. Throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. What's going on, everybody? KT is bitter. He literally won a ring. We moved on, and he should. Yep, we're going to go over that. That story headline number 1. Oh, yeah, you got that right, brother. So anybody got anything to say? Feel free, fire away, throw in the chat box. Oh, yeah. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box just takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got, it's called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel, I thank you in advance, and it would mean the world to me. Thank you. If you're subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. And if you're not, please go down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, I thank you. Thank you. And finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants Gridiron. It's a group, right? What do we got? We have over 3,800 members in the group. It's doing very, very well. I try to post stuff in it 7 days a week, pretty much. Usually, as soon as I get done going live here, I'll spend an hour or 2 putting stuff in the group and in the page, which I'll go over in a minute. I try to get up to like about 10 different things in there every day if I can. Sometimes in the off season it's a little difficult, but whether it's an article, a post, a picture, or something just showing some stats of a player, a video, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites. I try to get as much stuff in there as I can every day. And if you become a member, not only do I post stuff in the group, but the members as well, they post stuff in there as well, too. So there's a ton of New York Giants information going in there every day. And the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page. All right. I'm the administrator in there. So I'm the only one that posts in the page, but it's the same thing as in the group. It's 7 days a week. As soon as I get done going live, I'll spend time putting stuff in the group and in the page. What are we up to? We have over 1,700 people who like the page, and we have over 6,100 people following the page. It's really, really doing good. It's really taking off. It's just doing simply marvelous. But as I said, it's the same thing. As soon as I get done going live, I just put stuff in the group and in the page. And I don't like commingle them. So basically, whatever I put in the page, I don't put in the group. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page. I try to keep them separate. Unless there's something really just makes fun of the Eagles, then I just want to share that with everybody. I think that's what I was putting on this earth for, is just to make fun of the Eagles as much as I humanly possibly can. So if I see something like that, I might just share that with everybody. But other than that, as I said, it's 7 days a week. I'm always putting stuff in there. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and become a member, every day there's a ton of stuff going in there every day. I make sure I do that. And I say, like I say in every video, if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, with all that stuff said and done out of the way with, here we go. Oh, yeah. It's really funny. It's like, social media can be like your best friend, or can also be your worst enemy, And a lot of times it seems like it's like people's worst enemies, and it's really funny, like, in a sad way, KT doesn't quite seem to kind of get it, He's given us, the fans and the Giants and all that, the middle finger, but you're the joke. Actually, I guess he's the young Joker. I guess that's his rap name, I guess. But he doesn't seem to understand it. You're not good enough. Not so much as a player, but see, there's two things. The players play, and human beings, the way people are, obviously, the dude's a freak. Sometimes watching some people just trying to cover him, it's a freaking joke. Absolutely. The moves the guy's got, this, that, what a freaking joke it is trying to cover that guy. The dude, the moves is amazing. But he just can't stay healthy. But but there's more than that. There's being part of a culture, and just because you might have some moves or this, that, and the other thing doesn't mean you fit in with the culture. And that's a good possibility why you're not on the Giants anymore, because you're a joke. You're not good enough to be on the Giants. We don't want you. So I guess he got his ring, or he put his middle finger up in the video and all that, and he said, they troll me, so he says, I gotta troll them back. They're trolling me, so I got it. And whoever is in the background is laughing and all that stuff. I gotta troll them, but no, you don't. No, you don't. You can be a big boy, put the big boy pants on, and I don't want to say take it, but just okay, all right, and just get on with your business. Be a big man, but apparently that's not the way he is. But it just goes to show you that the young Joker, the joke is on him. That Kadarius Toney has middle finger message for the Giants and the fans. So. From the moment we selected number 20 overall in the 2021 NFL draft, this is what the Giants were. There's a bunch of articles out with this now. It was clear Kadarius Toney would not mesh well with the New York Giants, their fans, or the media. And it's a tough place. It's tough. It's really, really tough. Oh, yeah. From the onset, the often injured Toney was a problem. He clashed with the team's beat, mishandled the pressure from fans on social media. And him showing the middle finger is it's not helping his case at all, and failed to produce on the field. It was an awful cocktail, and one that certainly would not last. And I've never ever. Now, please forgive me. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, I've been at every Giants training camp since like 1912, and I've seen every player come in there, and I've seen every practice. I'm not going to say any of that crap, right? But I've just hearing, I've never heard, quite possibly, certainly could have happened, quite possibly, because once again, I don't know everything, far from ever will know everything, and a bunch of things I could have missed in the past, but I've never heard of somebody having a problem with the cleats. I've never, I'm sure it's happened, but I've just never heard. And he's out there running routes. It was running around without. He had a problem with one of his cleats or both his cleats or something. I've never heard that before, and they just took off from there. Yeah. Let's see. In October 22, the failed Dave Gettleman experiment had ended. It was just apparent, we had the new, one thing is that you always say is, a lot of people say, don't give up on talent. Don't give up on it. There's talent there. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But, if he lasted until October, well, I guess it was, right? Yeah. Despite being a wide receiver needy team, general manager had more than seen enough. I mean, he'd only been, into October as far as the season, so as far as training camp and preseason, I mean, his hamstring, he was having a problem with one hamstring, and then all of a sudden the other one went, and it's just a joke, absolute freaking joke, So then we wound up, obviously trading Toney, and so in return, I guess you can look, we got Darren Waller for Kadarius Toney, because we got the pick from the Chiefs, and that's the one we wound up trading to the Raiders to get Waller. So now we have Waller, who has had some injury problems. However, he's more of a grown, mature human being than Kadarius, the young joker. So we swapped Kadarius Toney for Darren Waller. So I definitely think we made out in that one. But said the Giants and Shane had attempted to recoup more in exchange for Toney earlier that year. So, I mean, they had been trying to get rid of the young joker for quite some time. Quite some time. They're trying to build a culture, which I'm going to go over with Carl Banks. That's my next story. And, so it's not a real good thing when you got – there's talent there, without question. And as soon as the new regime comes in, basically within a month or so, they're just trying to get rid of you. I mean, that's not saying much. That's really, really not saying much. And he doesn't seem to understand that. Doesn't seem to understand that he's the joke. The joke's on him. Let's see. In the end, the Chiefs and their high-powered offense took on a flyer on the potential player and not the actual person. So that's what it is. On what he can be, if he can stay healthy, if he, on what he possesses, the skills that he possesses, but basically not the person. I'm kind of wondering if Andy Reid would see that video and kind of what he would think. You know what I mean? I wonder if he saw it and if he's going to maybe talk to the young joker. It says it was best the Giants could do. Obviously, we get the second day pick back in return for him. And Shane and the organization, it was basically it was addition by subtraction, which is great, true. Things worked out for the Chiefs, and to be honest, I mean, you can say it worked out for the Chiefs and all, and say, "What's up, Terrence?" Hamstring. He's a clown, yeah. But I mean, you can also look at it, he's giving the middle finger and all to the Giants and the Giants fans. But it goes both ways. Were you pulling for the NFC East to win? I mean, I despise the Eagles. I hope you can feel it. But I mean, if you're pulling for the NFC East, I'm cool with that too. I wasn't, because it's the Eagles, right? But I mean, if you're pulling for the NFC East, I mean, we got more Super Bowl wins than any other, right? Cowboys got 5, Giants got 4, Redskins got 3, Redskins, Commanders, Washington football team, whatever you want to call them, got 3, and the Eagles got 1, right? So we got more Super Bowl wins than any other division. So if you're pulling for the NFC East to win another one, more power to you. I can't argue with that, right? But because it was the Eagles, and I live right here by Philadelphia, and I can't stand the Eagle fans and all that stuff. So I was pulling for the Chiefs. So basically, with that punt return he had, that really helped. That really, really helped. So, so I mean, basically, I mean, he's there now. You have no idea what this season's going to be like. So we'll just have to wind up waiting and see. But I mean, he helped the Giants out last year too. We got a pick back from him, right? We got Darren Waller, and he helped beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Says things worked out for the Chiefs. Toney played a key role in the Super Bowl, helping Kansas City take down the Chiefs. It was, in all reality, the only positive thing Toney had ever gifted the Giants or New York. Yep, absolutely. I said, unless you're pulling for the Eagles for the NFC East to win, which hey, I ain't got no problem with that. Absolutely no problem. Hey, keep it in the NFC East. Right? We are the best division in football. So, and especially with Super Bowl wins. Right. So, his massive back tattoo with number 89, which he no longer wears. I guess he had that removed. Wow. Oof. And the Statue of Liberty do not count, nor does the Giants tattoo on his inner right arm. Those are now just mere reminders that he couldn't handle the pressure in the biggest city in the world. That's right. Still, Toney got his Super Bowl ring as a sophomore in the NFL. Many play for more than a decade and never even sniffed the post. That's right. And, look at Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams plays. He doesn't miss. Last year I think was the first time he missed any games at all in his career. Guy's a freaking warrior. Plays for crappy team after crappy team after crappy team. What's he do? Every week he's out there playing, pouring his guts out, pouring his hearts out. And what's he? And he guy can't even sniff the last year. Played all those seasons. Finally sniffed the postseason. Guy's a class act of a human being. Unbelievable teammate. Somebody you want in the trenches. Somebody you want on your sideline. Somebody you want in your locker room. And the poor guy can't even sniff the postseason. Thankfully, he got in last year. Then you got Kadarius, the Joker, right? Second season, really doesn't deserve it, but he has himself a Super Bowl ring. It's just not fair. But sometimes life's not fair. But in the end of the day, Leonard Williams is better off than the young Joker. So because he's a class act of a person, right? Kadarius Toney's got some growing up to do. Hopefully he does it for his sake, but but for Toney, it wasn't enough. He had to deliver one final message to the Giants, the city that swallowed him whole, and their fans who twisted him in knots. So actually, he said, after he said, "Yeah, did he say Madison Avenue?" Or I'm not going to play because I don't want to, But here we go. Everybody in New York, right here. Yeah, right in New York, right here, right there. Yep. When you get your ring, June 15th. Oh, okay. I'm going to go to middle of New York. I'm going to go to New York with the middle finger up. Yeah, that's what he was talking. He flipped the bird to all things New York while being sized for his new ring. This is for everybody in New York right here, Toney said while flashing the middle finger with his placeholder ring on the digit. Remarkably, this is funny, Toney did not suffer an injury or lose a cleat while making the gesture, I'm surprised he didn't pull a hamstring while flipping off the bird. Toney may be on top of the world right now, but if his injuries continue and his rap career never takes off, he might be forced to sell that Super Bowl ring sooner rather than later. We've seen much better players suffer the same fate. So, just sometimes what comes around goes around. You gotta really be careful, like what you say and all that. Because things come around. I remember Eli Apple was making fun of the Giants and the Saints. I'm like, I'm not sure what city or what fan base I can't stand more. It's like, I don't know if it's the Saints. I think he said their city smells or something like that. And he said, I don't know if I can't stand the New York fan base or the Saints fan base more or whatever. Then about a week or so later, he gives up the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. And he's plastered on Sports Illustrated as the Rams catch the game-winning touchdown. And Eli Apple's there getting burnt like toast. So, you got to be careful what you say. Just totally classless. So, but you start burning bridges, you got to be careful of that. Got to really be careful of that. So, along with those lines, now we bring up another class act of a human being. Somebody I'm thrilled to absolute death that he was drafted by the Giants, played most of his career with the Giants, and is now with the Giants organization. Okay, a man that's been there, done that, two-time Super Bowl champion, Carl Banks. He had some stuff to say. Right, yeah. Once again, 312,000 tabs open. So we get Carl Banks. Giants finally have an infrastructure capable of success. And if you listen to him talk, there's Bob Papa and Carl Banks. They got Believe in Giants. It's a podcast. They're not on a lot, like Big Blue Kickoff Live or Locked On Giants with Patricia Traynor. They're like on Monday through Friday. Believe in Giants. Well, actually, they're off right now for a while because their last episode, their last podcast, they were talking about like, this part of being it will be coming back, I guess probably maybe when football starts again or else. And they might be off for a while, but they don't do a ton of podcasts. But I listened to their one of their last ones. But obviously, when Carl Banks talks, he's been there. He knows. He's been coached by Bill Belichick. Tom Coughlin was the wide receiver coach there from like 88 to 90, I think it was. Bill Parcells was his coach. Obviously the Maras there, he was there with Harry Carson. He was there with Lawrence Taylor. So he played with 2 Hall of Fame linebackers. He was drafted in the first round. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He was the best player on the field in Super Bowl 21. Except for maybe Phil Simms. Phil Simms, what was he? 22 out of 25, 21 out of 25. So he won the MVP. If you can't do that, or the Giants certainly won. But I'm saying if you take Phil Simms and put him aside, Carl Banks was the best athlete on the field that day, bar none. Phil Simms throwing passes, did a phenomenal job, but Carl Banks was the best athlete on the field that day. And if you ever listen to, and when John Madden talks, you should listen. There was a couple of times in the playoff games. It was the 1986 playoff game against at home when they beat the 49ers 49-3. John Madden multiple times during the game said that Carl Banks was the best player on that includes, you're thinking about the 49ers, right? With Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and this, that, they had a bunch of good guys on their team. Then you got on the Giants in 1986, obviously you have Harry Carson, you have Lawrence Taylor, 2 Hall of Fame linebackers, but multiple times during that game, John Madden said Harry Carson's the best player on the field. Multiple times. They couldn't. You want to talk about setting an edge? There you go. He doesn't have that athletic ability where, like Carl Banks, like he can jump over a line, and like on a goal line stand, like Lawrence Taylor, like they hand the ball off and the guy would try to jump over the line, and Lawrence Taylor would be the middle linebacker, and Lawrence Taylor would just launch himself and meet the guy head on and knock him short of the goal, or Lawrence Taylor chases a back from the backside or something like that. Carl Banks didn't have that gift, that didn't have that speed, but Carl Banks could set an edge. Let me tell you what, it was hard to get around him. He could set an edge. Carl Banks, unfortunately, I don't know. I'm not, maybe, the accolades that Lawrence Taylor did or whatever, but he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. If he's not in the Hall of Fame, we're talking borderline Hall of Famer there without question. So, Carl Banks is a special ball player. And you can tell, you can listen to him talk. He articulates very well. He knows obviously what he's talking about. He's been, we're going back to the 80s. We're talking 40 years of knowledge up there. Man knows a lot. Says former New York Giants Ring of Honor linebacker and 2-time Super Bowl champion Carl Banks is more than just a football legend. He is a successful entrepreneur and also serves as a game analyst on Giants radio broadcasts. He is well known to the Giants fans of all generations. You're going back 40 years. You got drafted in 1984, so you're going back like 40 years. So, in a recent interview with Sports Illustrated, Banks was asked how the modern-day versions of the Giants compared to the teams he played on in the 90s, in the 80s and the early 90s. He said, well, I can tell you point blank, right? They lack talent. They're getting better at that. For years, I don't think they had the right coaching chemistry. And now they do, Banks said. I think they have a very good coaching staff, very smart management, and making good decisions. Now they just need to pick up great talent, which is true. It's really, really tough to overachieve constantly. If you don't have the amazing, the talent, it's tough to wind up. What we got time? 86, wasn't that the game Carl Banks came out by himself for the coin flip? No, that was 86. That was they sent Harry Carson out. He was the guy. That wasn't Banks. He Parcells sent Harry Carson out. He was the only one. Yeah, but I mean, in '86 in the Super Bowl, Carl Banks was the best one on the field. I mean, he had so many more tackles than Lawrence Taylor did. Oh yeah, he was unbelievable. He was really, really good. He had a big stop on the fourth on the goal line stand they had down there. What the frick was the score? Was it 10-7? I think it was. I think it was 10-7. I'm thinking maybe kind of. And the Broncos got down, and they had to, and they got down around like the 4 yard line or something like that. Three to plays. I think they ran the ball up the middle one time, got stopped short. Another one, John Elway took the snap. He rolled to his right with the Giants' left side of the defense. Lawrence Taylor kind of ran him out of bounds around the 2. Might have been the third down play then. And this wound up being huge because on the third down play, that's when they handed the ball off and okay, the Broncos got the ball. The Broncos started going to their left. Well, I think Carl Banks kind of knew the play. He was talking about, I knew a lot of their plays just from watching film and stuff. That's something Lawrence Taylor didn't do. Lawrence Taylor could just react and all that. Carl Banks had to watch the film, but Carl Banks said I knew a lot of their plays. So Carl Banks came in, I think caught the guy from behind. He just came crashing in. Made the tackle in the backfield around the 3 yard line or so. So what it set up fourth down. Treadwell came out and missed the 22 yard field goal, whatever. What would that have been? 20 yard field goal? 10, yeah, about a 20 yard field goal. He kicked it, he missed it. So that saved the Giants 3 points. I mean, that wound up being huge. I mean, if the Giants let them score there, I think it might have been like 17. I mean, that certainly doesn't mean the Giants wouldn't have won, but that was a huge defensive goal line stand right there. That was huge. But I mean, Carl Banks, he was really, really good. Yeah, real good. He just didn't get. I mean, when you got Lawrence Taylor on the field, and also Harry Carson, it's tough to get a lot of accolades. But I mean, Carl Banks was special. He was really, really good. I'm ashamed he's not in the Hall of Fame. What do we got here? And I didn't need to pick up some great. And I said it's just tough to keep overachieving. Going up against the Eagles, who are just like kind of stacked. And just, trying to beat somebody like them. I mean, maybe you can beat them once in a while or something like that, but to try to beat them and then beat them in the playoffs or keep beating a bunch of good teams in the playoffs and get into the Super Bowl, it's really, really tough, but it's the process. They're adding little pieces to the puzzle. So hopefully maybe by next year, we'll have a better idea, of the talent to have on this team, and maybe one more year of some good drafts, and maybe another, couple some free agent pickups and all. We might be knocking on that Super Bowl door. So he said, I think that's the type of infrastructure that they have in place now, with General Manager Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll. Owners of the teams can get frustrated, but you don't have answers because you don't coach. You're part of the process, and you hope it turns out. But I think the Giants ownership sees that the biggest difference is in the coaches that they've had before and how the players have responded to those coaches. I mean, a lot of it's true. I mean, you could have the greatest talent in the world, but if they don't want to go out and play for you, okay, you're going to lose, right? I mean, or you can take a bunch of mediocre guys and get them to overachieve. You can get a bunch of mediocre talent to overachieve and wind up being like a 500 team. They may not ever get any better than that because they're, overachieving all the time. But, you can get the most out of, what you got. I mean, that's really, really special. It says Banks had the fortune to play under Hall of Fame head coach Bill Parcells and future Hall of Famer defensive coordinator Bill Belichick, and it was played alongside 2 Hall of Fame linebackers. Harry Carson, the middle linebacker, and Lawrence Taylor was on, the outside linebacker. He spoke about the team having a full social calendar, but never did it interfere with the team business. He said Parcells really hated people being late for the plane, and he laid down a hammer. Everybody would pack their bags as soon as they got home for practice, Banks said. If we had a road trip, you pack your bag for the trip. Put it in your trunk of your car. Wherever you are, you can just go straight to the stadium and not have to worry about going home, falling asleep, and then trying to get back to rush back. If you're out past midnight, don't worry about going home. Just sleep in the parking lot and have a ball boy knock on your window so you're not late for a meeting. He said that behavior, of course, is less common these days, which is true. Anywhere in sports, social media, and a 24-hour news cycle have forced public figures to find their P's and Q's. But the 80s were partying time. But, I mean, it's nice to see, obviously that, a legend, I mean, he knows what it takes. He's been there, he's been around that type of culture and all and everything. So it's nice to see even he, plus also, I mean, like with Daboll and they're embracing. I mean, Joe Judge did the same thing too. Joe Judge, embraced the guys coming in from the past players. He embraced them bringing it. I don't think McAdoo was very high on that. Just stuff I'm remembering and stuff that I've been hearing and all. McAdoo wasn't too high because sometimes, if I don't know, if you got a big head and you're like, that's okay. I don't need Bill Parcells coming in here and trying to tell me what to do. I'm the coach of the team. I don't need, what I mean? Or some guys might get frustrated or flustered if somebody else comes in or whatever, But I don't think McAdoo, like other players or older players and stuff like that coming in. But I said with Judge, that was different. He didn't mind. But I'm saying, but it's nice to see. I mean, you had like Michael Strahan in here. Right. And of course, then you had Bill Parcells was in there. Brandon Jacobs was in there, like was it the last week. So, I mean, you always have guys coming and going. So that's really, really nice to see. But I mean, it just seems like the culture is really, really, really good. And then I saw this other thing here with Eric Gray. Now what was it there? Eric Gray. Could he be, could he turn out to be the return man? Right. I mean, instead of him being, if he's behind, you don't know. It's going to be interesting. This is one of those battles. It's going to be really interesting to see, right, how it winds up working out. Does Gray want to beat out Breida? Or is it going to be Barkley, Breida, and then and Gray? Interesting. Or, you kind of wonder about Brightwell. Is his future, because, I mean, with Barkley, Breida, of course, you had the 3 Bs in the past. You had Barkley, Breida, Brightwell. But then you had Deshaun Corbin, and then we got Gray. So out of those 5, probably only 4 of them are going to hang around. Probably 3 on the team, 1 on the practice squad. So it'll be interesting to see, is Brightwell see the odd man out? But not Deshaun Corbin, Eric Gray, he did some returning in college. Let's see, what that year was this? 2021. Okay, 2020. In his senior season, because he was obviously very busy running the football. Did he do anything in 2022? No, he didn't. Nothing. He didn't do anything at all in 2022. In 2021, all right, he was in 62 total special teams plays. 53 was on kick return. 1 kick coverage on 8 on punt return. When he was with Tennessee in 2020, he was in on 41 special teams play. 37 of them, the majority of them were punt returns. And let's see, 2019 with Tennessee, he was on 58 special teams plays. 33 were kick coverage, and another 25 were punt returns. So oh boy, once again here, I have all these tabs open up. I don't even know if I'm going to find them. But I know he didn't have remarkable numbers, shall we say, as far as return and punts. Let's see here, Eric Gray stats. Okay, here we go. Punt and kick returns. Now let's say now. Punt returns. He had 9 punt returns. All right, but he kept punt return punts and he returned 9 of them for 47 yards. He averaged 5.2 yards a punt return. Nothing super special. Let's see here, his kickoff returns in 2021 with Oklahoma. He returned 4 kickoffs back for 72 yards, 18-yard average. So, I mean, he can do it. He's nothing. I mean, just his college stats. That's all I'm going by, or nothing special at all. But it just shows you he can do it. And obviously sometimes, if you're, a rookie trying to make a team, what do you got to do? Yes, you got to pay the dues. You got to be on the special teams, because I'm the third string running back. I just stand on the sideline. I just don't do nothing else. I mean, so if you're the third string running back, you might get in there for a series during each game, but I mean, it's you only dress so many guys. You're gonna be on one of the special teams, if not 2 or 3 of them or whatever. He did do some kickoff coverage, so that's helpful. But I mean, if you're a third stringer at almost any position, guess what, pal? You better enjoy some special teams. So there's a good chance. Obviously Richie James is not here. He had the couple the fumbles against the Seahawks, which wound up costing us some points there. Of course, then Adoree Jackson got injured. Like I said, the one thing is that if Eric Gray gets injured, you're not losing your starting running back, and quite possibly you're losing your backup running back. You're losing maybe your third string running back. Obviously, you don't want anybody getting hurt. Obviously, I don't want anybody on any teams getting hurt, but it's part of the game. But if Adoree Jackson's back there and just he tweaks his knee, guess what? There's your starting cornerback, right? So I mean, it really is rather beneficial to have like a second or third string player back there who can return if they can, right? So it'd be interesting to see. I mean, in OTAs and minicamp and all that, they had everybody back. Anybody, hey, you turn by, just catch some punts. Let's see what you got. It doesn't mean, oh my God, so and so's returning. Well, Cam Brown caught a couple punts. Oh my goodness, I guess he's going to be the punt returner. You know what I mean? So, but it's nice to see he has done it. He can do it, and maybe that might be his meal ticket to getting into the game a lot. But I mean, if possible, you'd certainly like to see a second or third string player returning kicks and punts and all that instead of your starter. I mean, if you have to, you have to. But as I said, because if the guy gets injured like Adoree Jackson, now you just lost your starting cornerback. Not good. And if Saquon's back there, he might be exciting returning kickoffs and stuff like that. But if he gets injured, you just lost your starting running back. Right? And that's the one thing, too, because a lot of times, I mean, injuries obviously happen all over the time and everything like that. But, one of the things that they're trying to do, especially with the kickoffs, and as much as it pisses you off, it pisses me off, too. But you got these human beings freaking flying down the field. They're running 230 pound, 40, 50, whatever they weigh. These freaking missiles. Especially if you get them on, on the turf and all that, these guys are moving, right? You got 230, 40, 50 pounds, whatever, flying down the field. They're just trying to make it safer. That's all. And, as I said, I can certainly appreciate that. It stinks because you're taking a really fabulous play out of the NFL. I mean, nothing more demoralizing. Nothing. The team marches down the field, 18-play drive, 3-4 yards, and maybe a couple passes and this and that. They finally get in, take 6-7 minutes off the clock. They're going crazy. We got it. Yeah. They kick the ball off, and the guy catches the ball, runs all the way back for a touchdown, wipes out their touchdown. Nothing more demoralizing than that. I mean, that's exciting. That's really, really exciting, But I said it's for the best of the game. I hope they can figure something out where they keep it in the game without totally eliminating it, because it just doesn't. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that they're going to totally eliminate the kickoff. But it's a spectacular play. It really, really is, or it can be. Really, really can be. Maybe not so much this year, where we're going to see a lot of this. But. All right, then I got my continuing series here. All right, so I got the middle linebackers, whatever you want, off-wall linebacker, whatever you want to call them. All right. For all 4 teams in the NFC East. Okay. Now, not a big fan of the Eagles. I think they're a little weak in that position. One of the guys, but I included, they had Hassan Reddick, they got him as a linebacker and all, but I included him like in the edge rushing department because he had like 1,800 sacks last season. So I got the Eagles at number 4. I mean, they got like Nicholas Morrow, from the Bears. I think he came in. They got Nakobe Dean, who only played, he played 47 snaps last year. It's not like he was injured. It's not, he got drafted, right? And he was supposed to be the steal of like the biggest steal. Of course, if you listen to the Eagle fans around here, he was the biggest steal of all time, quite possibly the greatest player ever drafted. It was Nakobe Dean in the 3rd round last year. Biggest steal of all time. Should have been the number 1 overall pick, and because we're the Eagles, we got him, and we're the greatest, and he's the greatest. And I can't stand him. But anyway, so it wasn't like he was injured. He played 393 special team snaps last year. So he played a lot. Okay. They were a little weak in the middle. They weren't, they had the edge rusher, right? Everybody and their grandma was coming out of the stadium, out of the stands. They lined up anybody and they were getting 15 sacks in the season. The defensive front was just phenomenal, right? But their linebacker play wasn't super, super special. So, but Nakobe Dean only had 47 defensive snaps last year. That's not telling me, it certainly doesn't mean he's going to be horrible, but he played almost 400 special team snaps and he played 47 defensive snaps. That's not telling me. I'm not feeling that. All right. And then we got Morrow, who graded out according to Pro Football Focus. That's what I'm going by, at a 54. So I got the Eagles, their middle linebackers, whatever you want to call them, inside linebackers, middle linebackers. I got them number 4. Not a big fan of theirs. Number 3, I got the Commanders. Right. We got David Mayo, Cody Barton, Jamin Davis. They got, obviously remember Mayo. He was with the Giants for a couple of years. Jamin Davis didn't do too bad last year, but I like either Van Der Esch, and they got Clark too. Van Der Esch and Clark, the Cowboys, and we Karake. So there's nobody the Commanders got that's I'm not saying Karake is the greatest, but the dude sideline to sideline, the guy has some faults. Maybe he's not the greatest cover in the world and not like that, but the dude sideline to sideline, tackling machine. And, if you're going to give me 150 tackles, close to it, right, in the season, okay. If you're a little weak and your pass coverage skills, okay, I'll take 150 tackles. Yes, please. I'll sign up for that. All right. So what the Commanders got, it's not as good as what the Cowboys got or what the Giants got. Now the thing why I got the Giants at number 2 because I love I think the Karake, I'd take a Karake over Van Der Esch and any of these other guys. As I said, once again, the Karake, it may be a little weak in coverage, but I said his amount of tackles he can really, really help the team out a lot. But what we have behind him, is not, between Davis, can Davis step up? Now it's his 2nd season in the Giants system because he came at the end of the season last year. It was kind of like get him off the practice squad from the Lions. Okay, all right, okay, thank you. Go in the game and go just start making tackles. It's not that easy. So now it's his second year with Wink in the system. He's going to start learning, become better. He was drafted early, so there's a reason why he might be drafted early, right? So he might get better. Micah McFadden, Wink Martindale said, I'll tell you what, Micah McFadden is really doing well this year. Okay, but all I have is the evidence I have in front of me, the evidence from last year, from what I saw from last year. He can get better, absolutely, but what I saw last year was not always the best. And then Darian Beavers, right? He was doing really nice in the preseason, but once again, all the evidence I have is basically nothing because I haven't seen him play in the regular season, right? So So what's behind Okereke is kind of, can Micah McFadden get better? Yeah, well, cool. Can Davis get better? Sure, yeah, absolutely, cool. But I haven't seen it. So I got the Giants at second. So I got the Cowboys at number one overall with with Clark, Jabril Cox, but Van Der Esch. And because last year, I mean, Okereke had a lot more tackles than Van Der Esch. But Van Der Esch graded out Pro Football Focus at a 73.1. Okereke was a 73.3. All right. And they had Clark graded out a 65.5. So they have two guys that graded out pretty decently. And I think Van Der Esch's coverage grade was better than Okereke's. So they got a couple of guys, the Cowboys, and the interior, the middle linebackers, inside linebackers, whatever you want to call them. I think that they're a little bit better than what the Giants have. Things might change next year. I mean, if Micah takes a step up, if Darian Beavers starts balling out, doing real well like he did, in preseason, right? If Davis takes another step forward because he's in the same system for the second year, so he doesn't have to think as much. He can just go out there and start reacting, right? So without question, next year the Giants can be number one. But right now, I got them in number two. I think the Cowboys a little bit better than the Giants at the inside linebacker position. So I got the inside linebackers, NFC East. I got the Cowboys number one, Giants number two. I got the Commanders number three, and I'm not very high on the Eagles. They don't have many weaknesses at all on the whole team, but I think this is one of them. So after all of this, let's see here. I got the Giants are still. They're still a little bit. The Eagles are still pretty far ahead. I mean, they got. I got the Eagles got 31 points. Giants have 10. Giants got 23. Cowboys got 10, 20. Cowboys got 27, and the Commanders have 19. So the Giants are in third place. Basically, that's the way it was last year. I mean, the way it finished. I got the Eagles so far in first, Cowboys in second, Giants in third, Commanders in fourth. So. So tomorrow's a big one. Tomorrow's I'm going to go over I'm just going to do the coaching staff for tomorrow. All right, that's going to help the Giants out point wise. I can promise you on that one there. So I'm going to go over all the coaches and give me my points there. But after the coaches, I still got the special teams, I got the safeties, and I got the cornerbacks. So after the coaches tomorrow, I still got three more positions. But as of right now, the Eagles, unfortunately, are the cream of the crop so far. But that's why you play the games, right? So, well, guys, it's been 47 minutes as always. Terrence, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Good talking to you. And MAR, I'm not sure who that is, but MAR, once again, thank you for your comment. Thank you. Or if anybody spent any time at all watching me, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time at all watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I can use all the support I can get. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!